Alright, so hello everyone and welcome to Tech with Luther. Today we will talk about the command line interface, or CLI. So what is a command line interface? So a CLI is a broad term that encompasses any text-based application or interface where users can interact with a software or the operating system by typing down commands. So they generally lack the user interface elements, so they don't have any buttons, no drop downs, no pictures, no media, no whatever. It's just a text-based applications used to interact with a certain software or an operating system. So I'm going to give you an example of a CLI that can interact with a software. So currently I have actually the PostgreSQL database. So PostgreSQL is a relational database management system, and it has a built-in CLI. They're calling it as SQL shell or PSQL. So let's go with that. I'm going to show it to you. So let's type down PSQL in our search box. And this is how it looks like. All right. So let's say we wanted to connect to our ECMS database. And let's type in here the password. All right, so here, as you can see, we are now connected to the ECMS database. So instead of us, clicking some buttons or putting some inputs to a certain field, we are actually putting the command at the prompt. So let us type down select all from patient. So here I am instructing the database system to show me the list of patients that I have. So these are just dummy data. So these are not real patients. So this is how you can interact with your database system using a command line interface. Now, another example of a CLI is for your operating system. So I am obviously using Windows right now, and so a CLI that is built in for operating system for Windows is are the following. So we have, first one is the command prompt, second one is the PowerShell. Let's dig into that. So let's say if we type down CMD, this is our command prompt. So if you want to communicate with your Windows, you can make use of the command prompt or the shell. Let's say we wanted to look at the directories, the files that I have in my current path here. So the command prompt shows you where you are right now in terms of the directory. So I'm currently on my C drive under the users directory, and under the users directory you also have the Marty directory right here. And if I wanted to look at the files or the whatever documents I have here, I could just type down dir here, which is short for directory. That's the command that the command prompt can understand. So that's the command prompt. We also have a more powerful, more advanced CLI for Windows, and it's called, of course, the PowerShell. So let's type down PowerShell here. There you go. So if you've seen PS at the left side here, it means that you are using the PowerShell. If you didn't see it, which is something like this one, more or less you're using the command prompt. But we will not dig into the functionalities of the PowerShell. I'm just showing it to you just for an example. Okay, so let us break down the components of a command line interface. So let us use Windows operating system as an example, right? So the first term that I like to cover is the term terminal. So the terminal is the program that hosts the command shells. So the keyword here is hosting. it hosts the command shells. So if you are using Windows, on my end I'm using Windows 11, you can just get into the settings, and then afterwards go to, you can type down for developers here, which will show you developer settings. You can actually see the section for a terminal, and it reads as, choose the default terminal app to host the command line apps. So again, the terminal is a program that can host CLI apps. So if you are using Windows, then you have Windows console host and also the Windows terminal. The difference between the two, I would say for Windows console host, it's a bit more archaic. We will not focus onto that, although I will show it to you later, but we will focus on the Windows terminal here. So if I type down here the term terminal, this will pop up. Now you might be wondering, I'm just showing the PowerShell. Well, basically not really. So focus on the whole application itself. The PowerShell is just one tab on the whole terminal. I can actually add a command prompt right here. I can also add, let's say, the Azure Cloud Shell here. So I have now 3 shells under one roof, and that is your terminal. Okay, the next thing that I'd like to cover is the term shell, because I keep on saying it, shell, shell, shell. So all of these 3 together here, they are all shells, right? So the shell is the program that runs the commands or forwards the command to its underlying operating system. So we have 2 types of shells on Windows. So we have here the command prompt and also the PowerShell, right? So again, the shell is a program that runs the commands or forwards the commands to its underlying operating system, and we will get into that later on, but just bear that in mind. The next thing here is the prompt, right? So the prompt is where the commands are typed in. This is where you put in your commands. And the last term that I'd like to cover is the term command. So command is the language that the program can understand. This is what you're asking your computer to do, right? So let us tie up all of these terminologies together. All right, so again, now that we know the components, let us go with how it operates. So the CLI actually follows the REPL cycle. So REPLs, as in REPL, R stands for read, E for evaluate, P for print, and L for loop. And that's also one of the reasons why CLI are, the CLI is also called as REPL. Okay, let's break it down. So the first thing is about read. So when you type a command at the prompt and press enter, the shell actually receives this input, right? And so you might think of it like, well, I just type in here and then the response was immediate. Well, it is actually immediate, it is fast. But let us slow it down, slow the process. So if I type down here, dir, which is short for directory, I want to ask our shell to give me a list of files that I have or directories that I have in my current path. So if I press enter, the shell actually receive it. So the shell now, once the shell receive it, the shell parses the command and determines what needs to be done for this one. So he read it and then he tries to evaluate it. He parses it, determines what needs to be done. It's either it will execute the built-in commands or passes the instructions to the operating system to run the programs. So once the evaluation is done, let's say you type down, of course, directory, what what I've just mentioned here is just directory. That's, the shell can understand it. But if you type the Python, you're instructing your shell to run the Python. Now, if that's the case, then the shell will knock on the door of operating system and ask the operating system to run the Python on the console or on the terminal. So once the evaluation is done, the results now pass on. The results now is again processed by the shell, and the shell will display the results onto the screen. So that's the print part. The last part here is about the loop. Now the loop is that, after printing the results, it will go back to the read, to the initial states. So when you see the initial state, it means that, it's a way for the shell to tell you, I'm done, and do you have anything else to that you want me to work on too. So let's go with the deer as an example here. So I press it, instantly we have the results, and it goes back again here to the read state, which is, the prompt is asking us, what else do you want me to do? All right. So since all these components are tied up together, in practice the terms are usually used interchangeably. So in short, the command line interface is often referred to multiple terms. It could be terminal, it could be shell, it could be prompt, it could be console, it could be CLI, whatever that is. If you heard that, more or less, they want you to open up a command line interface for an application or for an operating system. I think that's all for this video. Now, if you like this video, please hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification. And if there's a topic you love to see covered, drop a comment down below, and let's build this learning community together.